Here's an old Toro 524 snowblower. It's got an old Tecumseh 5 horsepower engine on it. Now this thing's not running, so I'll kind of show you what to do when you get something like that and it doesn't want to go, what to check first. The first thing I check is to see if there's any spark. So just insert the plug back into the cap. Make sure it's grounded properly. And on this specific blower, I gotta make sure that the ignition key is on. On some snowblowers, all you have to do is move the throttle lever up, and that gets it in the on position. I'm just gonna pull it over. Now it did turn over earlier when I had gas down the cylinder, so what I'm going to do next is take off the carburetor and clean it. To remove the carburetor on this machine, I'm first going to take off these two little screws down here. Now this cover is going to come off, and you're going to have to slide the choke cleaver through this crack. You're also going to have to disconnect the primer, and the whole cover is going to come off now. Now before you take your carburetor off, you want to make a good note of where the governor linkages are. You can see that one is on top of the carb here, and it goes to the governor arm over here. Also make a good note of which hole on the carburetor lever that the linkage is in. And here's where the choke cable is. Before I go any further, I'm going to turn off the fuel valve under the fuel tank here. Now you're going to need a 7/16 wrench and start removing the two nuts that hold the carburetor. And there's another nut just beside the fuel line over here where my finger is. Now before removing that nut, I'm going to remove the fuel line. First I'll get off the clip. Now you can push the fuel line with a dull screwdriver. There might be a bit of fuel that's going to leak out, but we've got the fuel valve off on the fuel tank. Now at this point I can remove the nut on that side. Now on this side there's a whole bolt. If it turns and you take the nut off, you're going to have to hold it on the back. So now I've got the bolts off and the whole carburetor should come off. Now you can twist this metal plate here to get the choke cable out of the carb. And now make a good note of where the linkage is on the top lever of the carburetor butterfly. And then just tilt the carburetor over like that and it's going to come off. So I'm going to mark this hole here with a black marker. So I've just marked it just to be double sure that I put it back in the right place. And this is what's going to be left here. The whole bracket that holds the choke lever. It comes loose when you take the carb off. So just leave that there the way it is. Don't lose this little linkage here. And we'll leave that till we put the carb back on. So we'll see in part 2 where I'm going to take apart the carburetor and clean it.